You know what it takes to be number one. At State Farm, so do we.
I've been playing football since I was 7 years old, so my dad actually lives in Lexington, lived there his whole life, so that was kind of home base for me. But my mother moved around a lot. She moved to England at the beginning of my freshman year of high school. Her and my stepfather did. He got restationed to Lakenheath Air Force Base. And we said, hey, let's try it. So we went out there and went to high school for a year out there and got to travel all over Europe playing sports, and it was an amazing experience. The double-decker buses in and of itself are kind of hair-raising because you get on it and we're all on the top deck. You know, you have 50, 60 guys on the top deck of this double-decker bus, and you're driving down the road and it's kind of swaying a little bit, but that's just what it does, you know. But the first time on it, you're like, this isn't going to be good. And then you get to the English Channel Tunnel, also known as the Channel, and you pull the whole bus into this big rail car. And you can get out and walk between rail cars. And one of the big jokes is when you're a freshman, they tell you that you can look out the windows and see fish. So you see all the freshmen pressed against the glass trying to see if they see a fish. And there's really just little lights in the tunnel, I guess maintenance lights. And you'll see someone say, I saw one, and it's not a fish. Obviously, it's a cement enclosure, so you can't see out into the water. But the shortest trip I took, I think, was 14 hours. Your teams get really close, I'll say that. By the time we got the news, we were already out on the practice field practicing football after school was over. So we're out there practicing, and a Humvee comes driving up to the field and says, you guys got to get off the field because it's about to be a parking lot. And we were like, what? We didn't really quite understand what that meant. And so we went down to the school, and we're all sitting outside our locker room, and they wouldn't let us in because they thought it was a bomb threat. So we're under the impression that there was a bomb threat somewhere on base. Next thing you know, we see all the jets from the base taking off, and they're loaded down with gas tanks and missiles and everything. And that's when it kind of hit home, when we were like, this is bigger than just a bomb threat on the base. We saw the equipment trucks carrying cement barriers to the gates to block them off. And it got real really fast. And then once we got in and got changed and got to a TV and saw what was really going on back here in the States, it got really somber and quiet. And there's on-base housing, and some people live off-base just in regular British villages, which is what my family did, and then some people live on base. And they wouldn't let us leave because they didn't know the severity of the situation as far as our local area. So we were all piled into one of the football players' houses just watching the TV. Everybody's just glued, not saying a word, and just watching that unfold. So that's an experience that I'll never forget. That one's been kind of seared into me from a different perspective than being here in the States. We knew a lot of people that were in the Pentagon, so that was kind of nerve-wracking. And there was a few injuries of the people we knew, but no deaths, I should say. But it was scary because, like I said, you get close with military people. People think that you move around so much, you don't have a chance to develop those bonds, but you get really close to people really fast, and it was scary there for a little while. The entire August, I was battling for a starting position with Denzel Burrell. Was able to win the starting job and playing a pretty decent game against Southern Cal. I mean, the atmosphere was out of control. It was a circus, as we like to call it. And so that was probably the biggest and most exciting game I played in. And then started the third quarter, first drive, my knee gives out, and all that kind of goes away. I went into the doctor's office. I got my x-rays Sunday morning, came back Sunday evening, my x-rays and my MRI. And the doc pulled up the pictures and he said, Aaron, you have to have reconstructive surgery. You're not going to be able to play the rest of the season. But Kelly, our trainer, was right there beside me, and she says, but you get a medical red shirt and you get another year. And right then I was like, all right, let's go. Let's do this.
After he rehabbed his knee and whatnot, I've never seen him work harder. No one outworked him in the weight room. No one outworked him running. He was out there every day just trying to get better, and get back to where he is now. And now he's one of our leaders, he's our captain, and I think he's really going to prove it this year on the field, how hard he's working in the offseason to get back.
To have 105 or however many guys we have on the team out there with you, supporting you, giving you energy, it's hard not to want to help them and give them back anything you can.
I think maybe it's added a little bit more hunger to him, you know, a little bit more fight. In the fact that, you know, he just wants to get everything out of it. You know, he wants, you know, he's playing, you know, that much harder every play. And, you know, he's working that much harder in the weight room. I mean, Aaron's always been a hard worker, but, you know, he's playing this year with a certain type of hunger and desire that, you know, you really haven't seen in him in the past couple of years.